Welcome guys to the Whiskey Explorer. If this is your first time at the channel, thanks very much for joining us for another review, another fun whiskey review. And if you're returning, thanks again for tuning in and coming back to see another review. This time we're doing a bourbon, and today I've just got this little sample bottle of Larceny. So we're going to be doing Larceny, which is a wheated bourbon. So really cool history behind this one. I'll give you guys just a quick brief history of this one. You guys can look it up as well if you guys want a little bit more information. But Larceny gets its name from John E. Fitzgerald, who was a treasury agent who used to go into the rick houses and sample the best of what was in there. So that's sort of the namesake of this bourbon here. And if you look on the label there, you can see the little keyhole there for where he actually was the only person legally allowed to have the keys to the rick house. So
can I see that?
Yeah, for sure. So bring it in a little closer. Doesn't look like it's focusing on that. Oh, there it goes.
It's focusing.
There we go.
Keyhole in there.
Perfect little keyhole there. So he was the only one who had the keys to the rick house, which is the storage warehouses for where the barrels were kept. And he had quite the taste for the finest of bourbons. So he would actually go into the rick house and take samples of the bourbon. And
sounds like my kind of job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So and he apparently would take bottles and samples and what have you. And so that kind of gives you the namesake of the. It says John E. Fitzgerald Larceny right on here. And this one here is brought to you guys by the Heaven Hill Distillery. And it is bottled at 92 proof or 46% ABV. And this one here is a wheater. So instead of rye being one of the primary components in the mash bill, this is one of those bourbons where they swap out the rye for wheat in the mash bill. So that generally, typically for bourbons, gives it a little bit of a softer arrival, a little bit of a softer approach. Generally speaking, a little bit of a friendlier bourbon. I've heard really good things about Larceny, so I'm looking forward to trying it tonight. What I thought I'd do is I was down in the States and found the sample in Total Wine when I was down there. So I thought I'd pick this up to help me decide whether or not to pick up a bottle. So we'll taste it today and let you guys know if it's worth picking up. So this,
can you get it in Canada?
Yes,
you can.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
So at the BC Liquor Store here in Victoria, this bottle runs you about 52 Canadian. Now that's pretty steep for a bourbon here. But the thing is, if you're in the States, you can get this, and it's what you would call really a budget bourbon.
Yeah.
In the States, this is about $26 for a bottle. So pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
$25 bourbon, so it definitely fit under the budget bourbon category, and I know a lot of people enjoy it for that. So we're going to give this one a try, so we'll just kind of crack this little sample bottle here and pour a couple of drams here. So just a little wee guy here, so I have to kind of share it, but just enough to give you guys tasting here. So we'll give it a nosing, have a look at the color, and give it a tasting, give you guys some tasting notes, and let you know if we would go out and buy it.
It's got a nice smell.
So actually it's fairly like a light copper actually in color. So we had just recently done the review of the Elijah Craig. This is a lot lighter in color. Kind of a light kind of copper to this one. I'm just going to rotate it around the glass here. That kind of lets the alcohol kind of coat the glass and gives you a better opportunity to get a good nosing on the
You just want to try not spilling it out the side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, got my brother Jason back here for another review.
But that smell smells quite nice.
It smells really good.
Yeah.
It smells pretty sweet. I kind of get the corn sweetness already right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is, the corn.
Really nice though. It's a dusty corn. Dusty corn, maybe a little bit of dusty leather in there too. Man, it smells really inviting.
Really good.
Really nice nose on this. Soft spices, really soft kind of flavor to this. Definitely vanilla in there for sure. Mm-hmm. Get some vanilla flavor. A little bit of sweet oak. Ooh, tons and tons of vanilla. I'm getting just tons of vanilla on the nose. Reminds me a little bit of the nose of the Weller Special Reserve, which makes sense since Weller is also a wheated bourbon. And in fact, the Larceny brand, the Johnny Fitzgerald, was sold to Pappy during Prohibition, and Pappy brought it back to his distillery, and it became one of the great wheated bourbons of the time. So,
I think we should try it.
Yep, sounds good. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get sweet oak on the initial palate there for sure on the arrival, mixed in with some vanilla and caramel notes.
It's very sweet.
Very sweet,
but
yeah. Soft.
It comes back at you with a very nice, oily, vanilla, warmth feel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the typical kind of bourbon baking spices are there, but they're more muted, like they're more subtle in this one.
For someone that doesn't want to get spanked, it's very nice. Who doesn't want to get spanked? Come on.
Man, that's almost too easy to drink.
Yeah.
It's I got a little bit of cherry on that second sip there. Again, the vanilla and caramel sweetness is dominant here. Very sweet bourbon. You can taste that corn, and what's interesting about the corn is that the corn gives it that bourbon, that typical sweetness, and I think that's what you come back to crave in a bourbon is that corn sweetness, and it's really nice on this. It's a little bit of a dusty corn. It's quite nice. Really soft vanilla butterscotch flavors for sure. The spice on here is very subtle, if kind of at all.
There is some for sure.
A little bit of
there,
cinnamon,
but it's more like a cinnamon. It's more of a welcoming, warm than a pepper or a paprika or anything like that. It's
no cayenne or black pepper on this. It's more of your nutmegs and cinnamon and kind of brown sugar in there for sure. It's a really, really soft, friendly, inviting bourbon.
I've never had this one. I'm surprised on how much I enjoyed, actually. Yeah, see, the problem with me is that would go down way too quick.
Way too easy.
That'd be a bottle in a couple of nights.
Absolutely. That's what I was mentioning. Is it's just a dangerously easy drinking bourbon. It's something that it's almost goes unnoticed as you drink it.
It'd be a very good bourbon for someone that's just starting the whiskey, I think.
The whiskey journey?
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Ooh.
Yeah,
I would definitely go out. Like I'm might go out later on tonight and go grab this one.
The Larceny.
Yeah, the Larceny, especially at that price.
Very good.
Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on this one. Very nice wheated bourbon. Really nice flavors in there. Soft arrival, lots of vanilla, lots of caramel, butterscotch, some light baking spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, overall kind of brown sugar sweetness, dominant, some sweet oak in there, some dusty corn, which is nice, but a very nice, very easy sipping bourbon.
That's the thing, it's very easy, there's not a lot going on, you're not going to get like, wow, this is that, but you're going to sit there, you're going to watch a movie, you're going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So not a particularly complex bourbon, but definitely a very enjoyable sipper. So definitely I think it's a purchase for us.
I would say so.
All right, cheers guys. Until next time.